poverty of our minds. It is a problem in many ways. Stick around and let's discover this subject. One thing that God, the universe, infinite intelligence, the source of all things, gave each and every one of us is time. And each of us are responsible for some time that we just squander. We throw it away as though we have all of it, as much as we want. And that simply is not true, and we all know it. Time is energy. Energy is much like a river. It is flowing. It is a constant movement. And in that constant movement, we're exchanging some of our own movements and our moments for money. And in that movement, that currency, most of us have grown up in a situation where we do not utilize this gift that God has given us, this ability to critically think so we can understand what this is that we're living in. What are we exchanging? What are we doing? What are we doing with our most important thing that we have, which is time? Time allows us to utilize this body to strengthen relationships with ourselves, with our family, with the divine universe, the infinite intelligence. And many of us don't understand what money even is. I believe that if we're going to exchange the gift of time that God has given us, we should understand money. Money is created from the Federal Reserve out of nothing. Complete nothing. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by silver. Nobody knows who actually owns the Federal Reserve. But they print up all the money and they charge us interest for it. And it is a crippling, debt-ridden system that we are all subjected to. If we ever want to have a better financial understanding, then we must understand and know what money is. We also must tie that in to the other aspects of our time and what vehicles God has given us in order to utilize this life to the highest and most fulfilling thing that we can create. We are the artists of our own paintings. We are the writers of our own story. We have a blank canvas at this birth, and we get to determine to a large extent how we perceive everything that's happened to us. If we turn the negatives into positives, and if we can continue to grow and expand and communicate and articulate our thoughts well, how we can be always striving and become better people every single day. And in order to do that, we have to utilize these gifts that we have. One is this body. This body, we must understand what we eat, where it comes from. We have lost that. And it ties into our own history. You know, we come over here wanting religious freedom for the persecutions that we faced in our previous homeland of England and many parts of Europe. We came here to have our own forms of worship, and yet many of us don't even understand what was involved with that. That people were willing to risk their fortunes, their lives, their sacred honor. It's pretty remarkable. And it is one of the great experiments that we know of in human history. Another gift that we have being in this country that we can restore if we understand some of the foundations of who and what we are and what got us to these points and what forces in the world continue to drive different agendas that are always attempting to divide us instead of unite us. We're going to delve into that a lot in the coming podcast over the next year and many weeks and months. But our body is so vital, and to understand how that food is grown and loved, and how you can I used to think this was crazy about talking to the food, talking to the plants that we grow. You can measurably see a difference in how it sprouts, it produces. To inject that food with thanks and love, it is a remarkable thing, and that love and energy in turn nourishes your body and fills you in this wonderful cycle of positive energy. And if we can squander time, that means we also are all responsible at various times for mistreating this gift of our body. And in turn, we also mistreat this earth. We don't treat the soil correctly. We don't understand how vital it is, because everything that we are, these hands, this head, this body, it all comes from the earth. It springs forth, and we will all be dust again. This body will fade away, and we must take care of it. And to understand where we come from, that it is a fight that we had for our religious freedom because we were being persecuted. And at the same time, human nature tells us that the Indians that were here, and in all of their ritualistic practices of honoring the sun, loving the earth, joining with each other in these gatherings of spiritual song and dance and worshiping the energetic nature of God. Wow, we got a long way to go still, but we're going to do it. I believe that wholeheartedly, that there is a swelling in this nation, that we know something is vitally wrong, and something is vitally wrong with all of these things, from how we utilize our time, from our lack of understanding of food and plants, how we don't have a full understanding of what it means to be healthy. There are 5 places in the world called blue zones. These zones are people that passively use their bodies all the time, and they are known to have extreme longevity. They live a long time. The primary thing that they do is they know their food. They know who produces it. Most of them all participate in growing it, and it makes a big difference. And we're going to explore that in an upcoming video really soon. And we have to understand that humans, we are meant to love and to socialize and to hug and touch and to help each other, support each other, allow dreams to flourish. Not to make fun of somebody for saying they have their heads in the clouds like that's some sort of bad thing. Every single invention that we ever had or have, we owe that to people that had their heads in the clouds, and we suppress that. It is a very suppressed thing in this country. We must allow imaginations to flourish. That is what God has given us. The ability to think, to dream, to love, to take care and to nurture all of the gifts around us. And it is important that we do that. And we must understand, like I said, knowing our history. If you have an interest of really delving deep into how we got into this position, there's a fantastic podcast. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Richard Grove. You can find him on Rockfin, ROKFIN.com. You can go there and watch his weekly Sunday night podcast. Crazy informative, and many recommendations on books that can help you understand real facts, not anything that is make-believe. It is a fantastic introduction to how and why we got into this situation politically. And we live and are governed by certain rules, and we should understand that, because why? Our bodies, our minds, our time is experiencing them and living through them. So if we are not aware I believe that we are doing ourselves and ultimately the divine a serious disrespect by not exploring all of these avenues. So if these things interest you and learning how to better communicate and study these things interest you, and you're in the local area, or if you're not in the local area, first of all, continue to watch our podcast because we cover these in great detail all the time, every Sunday at 1:30 and throughout the week. Come out and see us. We're here at 1:30 every single Sunday. You're always welcome. Bring friends, family, and come fellowship with us. Walk barefooted in the nature. Meditate, pray in the nature. Come commune with the animals. Get to know your food. Learn how to grow your food. Learn how to take care of the land and let it nurture you and your soul. And with that, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching this to the end. And with that, we'll see you next time.